I bet you think it's the offer. It's not the offer that can really affect your revenue. There's something else. Hey everybody, Frank+kern here. By far, the coolest and most rewarding work that I get to do is with a small group of people called my private client group. And my job with these folks is to be essentially the rainmaker in their business. So it's my job to look at everything that's going on and then find one big thing that they can do to increase revenue in the fastest and simplest way possible. I've got a really cool story for you. So a while back, I took on a new client. He's in Germany. His name is Daniel, and he does B2B sales. So he sells like these complex things to other businesses. And when a new client will come on, if they can't make it to a meeting in a reasonable amount of time, I'll do a consult with them over Zoom or on the phone or whatever. So I did this with Daniel. I say, tell me what's going on and what do you want to do? And he says, I really want to grow revenue. And I said, okay, well, how's your process work? And he basically told me, and he says, I've got two categories of clients, and I want to focus on the category number one. Category number one was bigger companies, okay? I said, all right, well, tell me about these bigger companies. He goes, well, it's really good. They pay me on average X amount of dollars, and they're awesome. I said, okay, well, what's the obstacle here? What's getting in your way? He goes, well, the challenge is it takes about 6 months to close the sale. All right, I said, okay, what's category number two? He goes, I don't really know if I want to mess with category number two. I said, well, tell me, who else are you selling stuff to? He goes, well, I also sell to smaller businesses, owner-operated companies, so not big corporations, but like businesses like mine, where I'm the owner of the company, et cetera. I said, okay, well, tell me about those customers. What, do you not like them or something? He goes, no, they're awesome. Actually, they're really nice people. They're very easy to help, and they close faster, I'm like, okay, well, why not sell to them? He goes, well, they don't pay me as much. And I said, well, okay, is it like a big deal? They pay you a tenth as much, half as much? He goes, no, the big corporate guys often pay like 20-something thousand, and the smaller businesses, they usually only pay me around $18,000. So I'm like, okay, how long does it take to sell these folks? Because remember, the corporate guys, they took forever to close. That was the big challenge with them. He goes, well, these folks usually just take a couple weeks. I'm like, all right, dude, well, let's kind of think this through. If it takes the big corporations a couple months and it takes the smaller businesses a couple weeks, you could conceivably sell like 5 smaller businesses in the same amount of time it would take you to sell one bigger company, and the difference in revenue is only a couple grand. So in order to make that extra $3,000, you're leaving about $100,000 in sales on the table because you're focusing on all these guys that are really, really hard to sell, and you're ignoring the ones that are easy to sell, that pay you quickly, and they're a delight to work with. And once we honed in on that and really got a prescription dialed in for how to focus on that segment of the market, things really, really took off for this guy like crazy. As a matter of fact, like a week or something later, he sent me an email and he said, man, I just want to give you a quick update. I focused entirely on that segment of the market. I've already done $48,000 in sales. I've had a 100% close rate. I'm like, oh my God, this is fantastic. Here's the lesson. All right. The number one thing that can affect your revenue isn't always your offer. Obviously, the stuff you have for sale needs to be good, but in many cases, it's the person that you're selling to. In our private client group, we adhere to this principle called the best buyer principle, and that's defined as the person, or the prospect, in other words, that is most likely to pay you the most, but also to do so with the least amount of sales resistance and in the shortest amount of time possible, and assuming you can get the best results for them. In his case, he was thinking his best buyer was the bigger corporations because they do, technically speaking, pay him the most money. However, that was only one criteria, right? It still has to be in the most effective and shortest amount of time possible, and you have to be able to get the best results for them. Turns out, big corporates took forever. They were a pain in the butt to sell, and they weren't always the easiest to work with. We're small business owners. It takes a couple weeks, really easy to sell, really easy to get results for. So my question to you is this: are you selling to the right people? Are you focusing on the segment of your market that's most likely to pay you the most with the least resistance, right, in the shortest and most efficient amount of time possible, and someone you can get the best results for? If you're not getting the growth you want, one thing you could do is really take a look and like, hey, who am I selling to? And is this the right prospect for me? And if it's not, identify the ones who are, make 100% of your marketing and advertising geared to attract those people. And I bet you your revenues will go up without you having to do a lot of extra complicated work or do anything particularly difficult for that matter. My name is Frank Kern. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I like making it for you. If you have any interest in being part of my private client group, just type in the words private client here below this video in the comments, and my little chatbot thingy should send you a little reply with some more information. Thanks so much for watching. If you know anyone who might find this valuable, please feel free to share it with them. All right, take it easy.